Who would have believed it? Two countries, Canada and Qatar, have just flipped the energy game on its head. In a move that sent shockwaves across global oil markets, they've officially outpaced the United States in gas exports and are now working together to corner the energy market. This is more than a shift. This is a silent, strategic takedown of what was once America's strongest economic weapon, its oil industry. The result? Gas prices in the US are skyrocketing. Gas stations across the Midwest and East Coast are already reporting massive price jumps, while the government scrambles to explain why energy costs are spiraling out of control. The US, once hailed as the global energy superpower, is now watching its influence shrink dramatically. What happens when a nation built on fossil fuel dominance suddenly finds itself at the mercy of foreign energy giants? And what does this mean for the rest of the world? Before we dive into the details of this energy war and the rise of electrification, don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you never miss an update from the African web, where Africa's voice rises and global narratives unfold. Absolutely. Here's a double-length version of the section Canada and Qatar's strategic rise with added depth, background, and engaging rhetorical questions, while keeping the tone and structure consistent. While the world's attention was glued to political drama and short-term economic headlines, Canada and Qatar were quietly rewriting the rules of global energy. What may have seemed like isolated energy investments years ago have now culminated in a powerful alliance that directly threatens the US oil industry. This isn't just competition. This is a full-blown geopolitical power shift. Canada, often underestimated in global energy discussions, has long held massive natural gas reserves beneath its frozen frontiers. But what's changed recently is its speed and scale of development. Over the last 5 years, Canada has made massive investments in LNG terminals on its western coast, giving it direct and efficient access to Asia. At the same time, it strengthened its energy ties with the European Union, stepping in as a reliable partner when Russia's gas exports became politically toxic after the Ukraine crisis. Now, Europe is signing 20 to 30-year contracts with Canadian suppliers, effectively locking in a future where Canadian gas fuels European homes and industries. But that's just one piece of the puzzle. Qatar, the undisputed king of liquefied natural gas, has been playing an even longer game. Decades ago, Qatar began building its energy empire with foresight that few nations could match. Today, it boasts the world's largest LNG export capacity and is still expanding. The North Field expansion project, worth tens of billions of dollars, is projected to catapult Qatar even further ahead by 2026, and the timing couldn't be more deliberate. Qatar is not only selling gas, it's securing global influence. Its deals with China span 27 years, ensuring energy dependency for nearly 3 decades. India and Japan have also inked multi-decade supply agreements. These aren't just commercial transactions. These are strategic moves that entrench Qatar as a permanent pillar in the energy supply chain. What we're seeing now is the result of that neglect. While the US was patting itself on the back for short-term energy independence, Canada and Qatar were locking down the future. And now that future is here. Why should Europe or Asia buy overpriced American shale gas when they can get cleaner, cheaper, and more stable supplies from Canada and Qatar? Why rely on an energy partner whose internal politics can derail deals overnight? This is more than an economic challenge, it's a diplomatic one. Energy deals come with influence. And as Canada and Qatar tighten their grip on the global supply chain, they also gain leverage over policy decisions, trade negotiations, and even military alliances. As if that wasn't enough, OPEC, led by Saudi Arabia, is adding more fuel to the fire. Recently, OPEC announced new rounds of production cuts, sending global oil prices soaring once again. The result? Inflation risks are back on the table, with analysts warning of a looming global recession if energy prices remain volatile. And who suffers most from this manipulation? The US, where high fuel prices ripple through every corner of the economy, from transportation to groceries. Shale oil, which once gave America hope for energy independence, is now falling out of favor. Investors are pulling back due to high production costs and low returns. Drilling rigs across Texas and North Dakota sit idle, while Wall Street shifts its focus to renewables and foreign energy stocks. America is learning a brutal lesson. Without international cooperation and long-term vision, energy dominance is fleeting. Could this OPEC strategy be coordinated with the moves by Canada and Qatar? The timing is suspiciously precise, but there's a bigger, quieter threat to the oil empire: electrification. Across the globe, countries are embracing electric vehicles and phasing out gasoline-powered transportation. Europe is moving toward an all-electric car market by 2035. China's EV market is exploding. Even in Africa, nations like Rwanda and Kenya are launching EV incentives and public transit reforms. Every electric vehicle sold means one less drop of oil consumed. And every government subsidy on EVs is a direct hit to traditional oil markets. The shift is undeniable. Oil demand is declining, not because of a lack of supply, but because the world is moving on. Where does that leave the US? Trapped between expensive shale and a collapsing fossil fuel future, while nations like Canada and Qatar adapt and thrive. Is the oil era coming to an end faster than anyone expected? In the middle of this energy chaos, President Trump is making legal waves of his own. In a highly controversial move, he signed an executive order targeting major law firms that he claims are interfering with national interests. The order aims to investigate firms allegedly involved in undermining domestic policies and supporting foreign economic agendas. This has raised massive concerns about judicial independence. Many critics argue this is a tactic to silence legal opposition, particularly firms challenging his administration's energy policies and international deals. At the center of the storm is renowned lawyer Mark Elias, who refuses to back down. Elias publicly called out the order as a dangerous attack on the rule of law, and legal experts are now debating the future of independent advocacy under a government willing to punish legal resistance. Is this a necessary crackdown or an overreach of presidential power? In a nation grappling with economic instability, legal turmoil only adds more fuel to the fire. So here we are. Canada and Qatar are leading the global energy race. OPEC is tightening its grip. Electrification is eroding oil's dominance. And America is caught in a storm of rising gas prices, internal legal drama, and declining global relevance. If the US doesn't urgently rethink its energy and governance strategies, it risks falling behind not just economically, but geopolitically. The world is changing fast, and those who fail to evolve will be left behind. Will America pivot in time, or will it continue to lose ground to nations that saw the future coming? Let us know what you think in the comments. Are we witnessing the fall of the US oil empire? And what lessons can Africa and the rest of the world learn from this dramatic shift? Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the African Web, where we explore the real forces shaping our future.